All right, everybody. So I'm going to keep it simple in this episode, right? We're going to show you, now this is the Cub Cadet with that I've been working on. And it's the 19 horsepower Kohler Courage, dead motor, well, an 8-valve seat. And this episode will be in chapters. So the first chapter really is going to just, finish the prep on the cylinder. Already did the head. The head's all ready to go. So the other episodes were, doing the diagnostic, some of which I did that live. And then, of course, trying to, had a video on the diagnostic, getting everything cleaned up. And we pulled the head off. We found out that it ate the valve seat. In the other videos, we used the second machine as a donor machine, which I want to show you something about that in a minute. You're going to get a kick out of it. And then that gave us the head, but the head had issues, had a broken bolt. We drilled it out. That's another episode. So all these episodes are out there. So this episode, right, we're going to focus on just doing the last minute prep on the cylinder area, getting it kind of cleaned up, the cylinder itself, the face, getting ready for the gasket, the bolts. We're going to do torque sequence. And then after that, we're going to, the head will be installed and we're going to do the valves. So that later on is the valves. And that's pretty straightforward. So I might even separate out that segment as a standalone. But I think this is only like 18 minutes long or something like that. Now, before we get into it, let me get you out of here on this. Check this out, right? So this is, I found the video on when Mikey brought over the other machine, because I already had one. He brought over another Cub Cadet. Listen to this engine, all right? And I was telling you that it was making a racket. And I wish everybody could be there, because this little short does not do it justification. Look out. Now we work. Oh, that's wrong. That's levels of wrong.
Something ain't right.
Yeah, something ain't right. Yeah, we could rebuild it. This is what I mean, right?
Fuck.
This one's shot.
Throw it out.
Throw it out. We got to take it apart and see what went wrong, though. That's a YouTube thing. Imagine if it's something stupid.
Ooh, the oil cap off.
That when I was doing work on that log splitter, it turns out that the bolt's loosened up on the connecting rod.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, that could be just loose cap.
I've had so many of these with fucking snapped rods.
Yeah.
Holes in the side of them, I throw them out.
That makes sense. That's what it sounds like. But you know what? Everything else, the carburetor, the starter motor,
keep all
of that, and the head, if the head isn't damaged, because I know I've seen somewhere there's some issues.
If you have room, just throw the whole motor in the basement and pick at it as you go.
Yep. All right, what do you think of that, right? Pretty cool. So I've been talking about it. I'll probably pop it in again somewhere else. Let's get started on the video. I'll see you guys in a minute. All right, we can see all of the sort of staining all the way around here, and then definitely gasket blowout, starting to blow out here. And that's I think it's pretty obvious. And we saw that on the head as well. And everything looks pretty good, but it's this yellowing that's in here, and that could be essentially the polymer that's created from cooking the engine with a lot of gas. Because generally when a cylinder or head system is carbonizing, it's because the fuel mixture is off. And in this case, it really looks like it would be more akin to a leak of some kind. But just as well, if the carburetor is not running right, and the engine's not running right, possibly because of the carburetor, right, you're going to get a lot of gas washing. And usually that's a cooler engine. An engine will be quenched or cooled in that way. And so heat usually isn't the problem. But, right, we could have a compound issue. Which one came first? So I'm going to work with trying to get this nonsense off. And we'll use a little bit of scraper. And also I'm going to use my whiz wheel. Now, some of what you're hearing, that's the belt. There's a lot of rust. Things are just sitting. All right, I'm just going to spend a few minutes and just kind of lightly. There's a little burr there. I'm going to go drag. We don't want to scratch anything, so we don't really want to use a scraper. There's a little burr on it. Better to, let me just dress this on my stone. want to be careful because we don't want to cause a problem. Probably a little burr. That's why you want to be careful with scrapers. Now, there's a lot of junk on here. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, because we don't want to gouge anything. And then I'm going to go to my whiz wheel in a minute. So I'll spend a few minutes with this. A little goopy, gross. That's better, but it's not 100%. It's going to be a little glary, fellas. Trying to so you can see as much as possible. It's going to be less abrasive and grabby than even the wire wheel. Now the red ones that you use of these, I think they're a little bit too much. That looks good. Let's blow it out a little. There's just a bit of junk hanging around in here. Now to get rid of that little bit of a polymer, it's actually starting to look much better as she's coming off. It really looks good in here, and I'll get you in close with the little camera in a bit. Let me go see what I have. I might just want to run a quick flapper in there, and you'll see what I mean in a minute if I can find it. Now, let me see if I have anything a little bit stiffer. It just needs a bit more material to fly around in there, because we don't want to upset the crosshatch, we just want to clean it. All right, 320. Okay, and we'll back out a little bit. And just a piece of Scotch-Brite to kind of wedge it in place to hold it. And we'll try a little WD-40, right? You know, the universal chemical, I think. And we'll fold one way. It's going to be big, and we'll fold one the other. So one goes down, one goes up, right? And let's just run it in there. Oh, yeah, that's good. And just cleaned a little bit too around the edge. And I don't see any issues here. That looks good. Yeah, she pulled off some gack. I think that's enough. We don't need to get any crazier. You know, it spun a little bit more in this area because it's on an edge and there's still some carbon buildup, but we're just doing a light polish. Yeah. And what we want to do is kind of run this through. Get some WD in there. Pull it in and out. And what that'll do is it'll help break the glaze and allow the rings to seat a little bit quicker. But she looks real good. Yeah, I'm not seeing any issues. Trying to get it in here. All right, the head bolts are metric. So I'm just going to go in by hand, just, you know, a handful of bolts, so just careful and make sure there's no junk. And then I'm going to run in the head bolts by hand because there's something that these things warp. And I wish I had, you know, the bigger sandpaper for my flat plate because I really want to get some of that because I would have just ran the head over the flat plate as well. Just to pull out any warpage. This is the one that they want the washer on. This bolt here. So I'll spend a minute and then I'll blow it out, clean them out, and then we're going to lubricate the threads. Blow it out, everything cleaned off, And I got my bolts all ready to go, brand new bolts, and I just put a little oil on them. Nothing fancy, particularly on the threads. The other thing too that I did was you got to mount this baffle or heat plate on. You're going to want to do that first. Make sure that's on there good. And then here we go. All right, I'm going to run these in hand tight. It's 180 and 360 inch pounds. So in 2 increments. So let me just get these all hand tight, and then we'll be back and we'll torque it. And fellas, I used the original flat washer. This is not a machine washer. This is just standard thick washer, and they'll collapse. They'll crush a bit. And they'll throw you off. Use the original washer. It's a machine washer. All right, let's just start down here. We're just going for a 180. Yep, there we go. I got real close, so just do my own pattern. As long as you just go across. All right, fellas, 30 foot-pounds on the big bar, and it's 13 millimeter head. So the other stuff is like 1/2 inch. So really weird. Let's see. Okay, let's go around and just check it. Done. Beautiful. You put away my stuff. Let's get the valve train gear out. Make sure these studs are tight. I'm not going to loosen up on you and surprise you with a bad reading. Now everything is the same here. I just pull out there's like a little Torx up in here. Yeah, and then just pull that out of our way. Okay, because we don't know where we are yet, so we don't want to tighten anything down. I've seen people take these and they just crank them in like it's a bolt that needs to be torqued. Also got a little lube on the stud as well. And let me get a wrench for that too, because we can't go with the original settings because we've changed a lot. All right, and you can see there's the flat here, and then the cup for the push rod. Let me get a wrench, and I gotta look up the valve lash. It's probably similar to everything else. I always like 4 and 7 or 3 and 7, 3 on the intake. That's 10 millimeter like I figured. Okay. Now let's just kind of spin it a little, just see what it does. So I was up at the magnet, so TDC, but we don't know where. All right, we got an exhaust event. Let's back it up. Bring it back up to TDC. Okay, let me go get, it's pretty tight. Let me go get the settings for this, and we'll do a quick lash as we go around. So they want 5 and 7, so basically we're at TDC. Let's just see what it is. Well, this is our exhaust, so this is 7. We're going to go in a little bit more. Yeah, that's about it, right? It just starts to hold on the stick. And let's just turn this in a little bit. All right, because I loosened it a little. Okay, and I'm going to kind of just tweak that center lock. Make sure yep, still 7. Yeah, that feels good. Now we want to tighten the two together. It will change it a little bit. Yeah, that seems about right. Okay, we got to back it out a little. We got to back out the center a little bit. Yeah, we got to turn the center in a little. It's getting a little too tight. All right, so we're going to turn the center in a little bit and then retighten it. This pulls the two in together. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, that's tight. Okay. And it just about holds it. That's tight. Perfect. All right, and that's as tight as I want to make it. So it's kind of jamming, pulling the two in at the same time. Now we'll turn it over. Yeah, that needs to be tighter. That's too loose. Let's get it closer. That should be good. Now that's 5 intake. And we're going to check it. We're going to spin it around. Let's turn you in a little. There we go. I have to pull it back out again, but still. Yeah, we'll pull it back out. Still got quite a bit of clearance. Yeah, she's coming up. Okay, we want to get the center in and nice and tight. I just backed off a little bit on the adder adjuster, which is the pivot. Let's check it. All right, we're loose. Let's bring them in together. Nope. Nope. Okay. Not enough. So loosen it back up again. We got to bring the center out a little bit so she gets a little tighter. Let's check it. You just have to humor it. It's too tight. All right, this is about where we want it. Right about there. Make sure the center is in all the way. Pull the two in together. And let's see. Yeah, that's like about 5. See? And just so it hangs, it's got to move. It's a little tight, but you know, some of these motors like it a little tighter. This is closer to 4. So what we'll do is we'll bring it out a little bit. And we'll go in a little bit with the center. And test again. You may have to bring it out even further. It's a real dicey situation. Yeah, she might be too tight. Yeah. Move too much. Getting close. Almost, not quite still, see? So we open it up. And now this time we're going to take a little bit out of the center and then tighten it down because she was a little loose. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that feels good. See, it's a little easy with these because the valve springs aren't so flimsy. Yeah, that feels good. Yeah, it's still, see, because it wants to come out. It's real close. Tighten up a little bit more. Yep. Yeah, see? Done. Let's roll through. I just hate that sound, you know? Okay, let's roll through. All right, so we got our exhaust. So it's just fired, blowing out all them hot gases. And we're gonna start sucking in. Suck it. All right, here we come. And here's our magnet is up here. All right, so we should be coming around. Well, we just closed the exhaust valve. All right, so let's check. Oh, we got a little clearance there. So here's our 5. All right. I mean, I like 4, so it feels a little tight. Yeah. Even though it has some clearance to it, let's go to 4 and see. Let's go to 4. We're allowable. We got a little bit of allowable range. Here's our 4. Yeah, I think she's a little tight. No, wait, hold on. It's also the way yeah, we're okay. It's also the way the rocker arm and everything is. Yeah, the way that rocker arm is. Now we got to go to 7. 7 or 6, right? We could be a little tight. Yeah, see? Good. Just got to tweak the rocker arm a little bit because it's the way it's laying. It's the way it's made. We're good. Let's do a compression test. Let's back out. Let me set you up for that. We're going to spin this thing over. All right, let's put a little bit of my tranny sauce in. All right, help things out. And we're going to just drizzle a little bit of oil in a few spots. All right. We're not worried about it going anywhere. All right, we'll wipe it up when we're done. Let it drooze. I think that'll work. Let's let it drip. Wipe up. Yeah, I got something. Oof. Belching. Belching at me. What do we get? Wow. Got like 100 pounds, fellas. Let's just give it a little bit more of a crank. Whoa. That's nice. Yeah, she's beautiful, fellas. She's beautiful. All right, let's go get me clean up, get the carburetors. Yay! Get the carburetors up on the table, reset camera. Let me shut this off. I'll see you guys in a minute. All right, fear not, because in the next video, we're actually going to try to get this thing running. Just got to go over the carburetor real quick in the next video, tighten up and tidy up a few things, check electrical system, yada, 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 stuff like that. That's all going to be in the next video. Get this thing running. Maybe we can get it off the table and give it its first test. It's a long road. People really screw these things up. This thing was really screwed up, fellas. It's a nice machine, but between neglect and issues with the build quality, but I think at the end, well, I did actually get the machine together and it was really nice and it sold pretty quick, especially at the end of the year. So I think overall, these machines can be worthy. You may want to just put another motor in. I may be doing that to the next one. I had a customer over here the other day. I did a nice trade, got a nice Honda lawnmower out of it that I built him a couple years ago, sold him a nice lawnmower, and he keeps asking, let me know when you have a nice tractor. And he would have liked, because I showed him the one that with the motor, the parts tractor that we need to put a motor in. And we talked a bit about that. He goes, here's my phone number again. Put me in your book and call me, okay, and give me first dibs. So at some point, I got to get my butt together and get that tractor together. So that will be a different motor, probably like a 17 horse or something Briggs. We'll put something decent in there, but we're going to have to go over it. Now, like I said, next episodes, we'll be getting it running. We'll check it out. We have other things to do. The transmission's not shifting. There's a bunch of things going on. Let's get this thing together, and I will see you on the next episode of Archer's Garage and the Scrub Cadet, as Darryl likes to say, the Scrub Cadet with the Kohler Courage that lost its courage.